Welcome back to the channel, another segment of Brian Reads the News. This is where I take a news story I find online, take it from my mouth to your ears to let you know what's going on in the world today. We got a good one today in USA Today. Let's take a look. Here it is. This is from usatoday.com, the travel section. It says Lake Clark National Park may be one of the most beautiful places most people never visit. This is by Eve Chen. Here's the first photo in the article. It says the Tenalian River almost looks unreal in Lake Clark National Park and Preserve. The Lake Clark National Park and Reserve. It says here, there's a place where volcanoes stream, salmon run, bears forage, and craggy mountains reflect in the shimmering turquoise lakes. Life goes on much like it has for thousands of years, and people and culture still depend on the land and the water. Chelsea Niles, program manager for Interpretation Education Partnership at Lake Clark National Park and Preserve, told USA Today, "It almost sounds too good to be true, but Lake Clark is very real. It's just not easy to visit." Here's what travelers should know about the park in Alaska, the latest in the USA Today's year-long National Park series. Article asks, what is special about Lake Clark? According to the park's website, Lake Clark was established to protect a region of dynamic geologic and ecological processes that create scenic mountain landscapes, unaltered watersheds, supporting Bristol Bay red salmon and habitats for wilderness-dependent populations of fish and wildlife, vital to 10,000 years of human history. That human history continues to this day. Quote, Lake Clark is peopled wilderness where people come together, traditions are passed, and place is still celebrated by many after thousands of years of inhabitation, Niles said. It says the Ilamana volcano towers over 10,000 feet tall. National Park Service, Buck Mangpine. Next, they ask, who are the native people of Lake Clark? So who are the native people of Lake Clark? The Dinaina people call Lake Clark home and have for millennia. According to the park's website, which adds up, Yupik and Sukpak people also had a presence on the land. In a video on the park's website, Lake Clark's cultural anthropologist Karen Evanoff, who is Dinaina, said, "We still live a subsistence lifestyle. We get a lot of our food from the land, and there's much more to it, though. There's a spiritual component. There's values and beliefs and the whole way of life that revolves around living from the outdoors." Niles noted that Lake Clark's original name, Quizhakya Vina, means a place where people gather, lake, in Dinaina. Here's another photo of it. It says Autumn Bay's Chinaitnas Bay's beach in gold at Lake Clark National Park and Preserve. They asked the question, can you drive into Lake Clark National Park? The answer, no. Like several other national parks in Alaska, Lake Clark is not on the road system. Located about 120 miles from Anchorage, most visitors arrive by small plane, according to the park's website, which shares a list of authorized air taxi companies. Quote, the reality is that it can be costly to visit, but the cost will depend on the experience someone is looking for, Niles said. Do you want to camp or stay in a full-service lodge? Do you want to have a guided bear viewing or fishing experience? Or are you hoping for a solo hike through the wilderness? She noted that the cheapest way to see the park is virtually, through the park's website and other online resources. Quote, with recognition that a visit to Lake Park is cost prohibitive for many, we make notable effort to provide an exceptional digital visitor experience, she said. Adding, travelers who do visit Alaska can see some parts of the park from miles away. You can actually see the park all the way from Anchorage to Homer. Lake Clark National Park and Preserve is located across the Cook Inlet in the viewshed of over 40% of Alaska's population and millions of annual visitors. Here's another photo of it. It says, a red fox surveys the land at Lake Clark National Park and Preserve. Next they ask, how deep is Lake Clark in Alaska? It Says here, Lake Clark's namesake lake reaches a depth of around 870 feet, according to the park's website, spanning 128 square miles. Niles notes it's the 6th largest lake in Alaska. Other lakes in the park and preserve are not as deep. It says here, Contrashabuna Lake is one of the other lakes in the Lake Clark National Park and Preserve. They ask, can you swim in Lake Clark? Quote, technically yes, but it's very cold, Niles said. More often we see people paddling or boating. Being on the water at Lake Clark National Park and Preserve is challenging in any case, and we ask visitors to be proactive with their safety. Visitors are encouraged to watch the weather because lake conditions can shift quickly and small waves can turn into white sepas within an hour. The frigid water and windy, wet weather are unforgiving, Niles added. So I'm assuming that was a spelling error. It says white CPAS. Should say white caps, I think, right? Not white sepas? Unless sepas is something I don't know about. Here's another photo. It says Lake Clark blue waters pop on an early autumn day. They ask, what are some fun facts about Lake Clark? The park and preserve span for more than 4 million acres, which is larger than Connecticut and Rhode Island combined, according to Lake Clark's website. Within Lake Clark's borders are 4 places on the National Register of Historic Places, 3 designated National Wild Rivers, 2 National Natural Historic Landmarks, and a National Historic Landmark. There are also 2 active volcanoes on the Pacific Ring of Fire, Mount Ayamana and Mount Redoubt, shared Niles. Up to 3.1 million sockeye migrate into Lake Clark each year, and the actions, policy, and advocacy of the land impacts fisheries on a global scale, according to Niles. Here's the final photo of the article. It says here, as seen here, visitors are urged to quietly move away from bears digging for clams along the tidal flats at Silver Salmon Creek National Park Service. Look at that. They have the visitors there, some with cameras and whatnot, and then the bear is digging for clams, so they're encouraged to move away. Alright, so there you have it. Lake Clark, an article today in the travel section of USA Today by Miss Eve Chen. Not too bad. 1 spelling error, I think, so she did alright. Lake Clark, I guess you gotta fly in there, and all kinds of information about Lake Clark. I don't know, what do you guys think? Have you ever been? Would you want to go? Another Alaska. It seems like all of Alaska is pretty beautiful, so this one probably doesn't really stand out above the rest. If you gotta fly in there, I'm sure most people aren't willing to do that, but I guess it could be a fun little excursion to fly in there and see what it's all about. I don't know, you think it's worth it, or would you rather visit another Alaska getaway? Let me know in the comments. If you like this sort of article, be sure to consider subscribing and ringing that notification bell. I'm trying to build my channel, and I often do these Brian Reads the News articles, get into all kinds of different things. I'm a reseller by trade, so there's a lot of reselling content up on my channel. You'll go there, you can see that. I'm trying to get the channel monetized. I've been at it for a year, so join the adventure. Hit that subscription button, ring that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one of Brian Reads the News. Thanks for watching this one. Bye.